Thanks for joining us on the Box Banter podcast. This week we were in Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yep, almost a wet one.
Oh, yeah, well, they teased it a lot, didn't they?
Oh, God. In Burnley, I trusted.
It's almost like they knew that the race was going to be a bit of a struggle, a bit of a slug. So they got straight onto the rain talk. Nice and early.
Burnley was the sacrificial lamb. She was confident. Even though all the teams, no, I don't think so. She was like, it's going to happen. It's 5 minutes, it's happening.
It's classic Sky Sports, really.
Yeah, they got it right real early.
They want you to stay tuned in, of course, My name's Raymond. This is Timmy.
Howdy do.
Why don't we start with your thoughts on the race overall? What did you think of it as a fan?
As a fan.
Yeah. As a fan.
Tough start.
Staying up at 11 to, waiting until 11 for it to start, staying up until 1 a.m., assuming you remained conscious for the whole race.
I did, yep. Oh. I did, yeah. I had other things to do.
You're
I was multitasking while I watched it.
You're committed.
Yeah, no, I actually enjoyed the race. But it's funny because, as you know, I watched some of the pre-race stuff, much to your shock. But then, you know what I thought? You know what I realized? The reason I don't watch the pre-race stuff is because I think I will fall asleep during that, and then I'll miss the whole race. If I can stay active or doing something a bit more interesting leading up to the race, it increases my chances of seeing the race.
That's the key thing.
Yeah,
I actually think we, a lot of the perception as Australians is it's really difficult to watch F1, and of course there are races and there are rounds where it's a bit of a struggle compared to the others. But I actually think that I kind of prefer watching F1 at night. Can you imagine being in Europe and turning on the race at 12:30 p.m. The coverage has started, and then you sit down. You pretty much half your weekend's literally dedicated to F1. I sort of like that you can sort of have a normal weekend.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think 11's I used to love 10. 10 o'clock was great.
10 is a sweet spot.
You in bed if you wanted before midnight. Yeah. That was really nice.
Enough time to spend with the missus at the beginning of the night. It's not, 7 p.m. All right, I'm going now.
Exactly right. Heaps of time.
You can dedicate enough time to get you some brownie points, and then you can commit to the race. So
yeah. No, that's I like it. It ends my weekend. I mean, it's kind of maybe less so now because I'm in love with NASCAR at the moment. That's a Monday morning thing, normally a 5 a.m. start. But before, say a year ago, before I really delved into NASCAR, my favorite thing about an F1 weekend is you got your weekend and it's a Sunday and you get the Sunday sads. It's a bit damn it. But your weekend's not done until that Formula 1 race is finished. Yeah. Even if you sleep through it, you got all Sunday to look forward to that.
Literally, the most excited I feel is the formation lap.
Oh.
That formation lap, I'm just on the edge of my seat, just, keen for it. Once the race is 3-4 laps in, then it's the battle begins of all right, can I stay awake? Can I do
you start
this?
looking at the lap count and you go, God, it's barely moved.
Yeah, you start scrolling the phone.
To be honest, as far as overall thoughts on the race, it was pretty clunky, but it was okay. It was still, I still think we're generating better racing than last year.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things I can touch on as far as Spa specifics go.
Yeah. Touch away.
Well,
go full touch.
It's coming off the calendar next year. So it's now alternating. So I do look at this modern version of Formula One, this current car, and I think, it ain't suited for this track, is it? I mean, they barely get through Eau Rouge, and then you just hear that slow
you can hear
down.
Them.
Hearing down on the straights,
board with Lewis, and there's a half a K left to the turn 5, and then it's just downshift.
And that would just be literally to get, I imagine, power up
to keep your battery. To keep the revs up.
Yeah. That is insanity.
I wonder how long Spa will last. I mean, the last tracks to do this alternating thing was Hockenheimring and Nürburgring.
Right, both of which are gone.
Yeah, and they were alternating, and then they're both now gone.
I saw that the F1 reported that 400,000 people attended the weekend.
Yes,
and I'd love to know as well, if you bought a all weekend pass, are you counted as one fan or are you counted as 4 fans?
If it's weekend, before. If it's weekend attendance, it'll be all 4 days of an accumulation.
If 100,000 people bought a weekend pass, then 100,000 people attended.
Yeah, that's why it's good when they say it's like a sold out. A race day figure is your most accurate because that's when everyone's going to be there. Obviously, you're not going to. Who's going on a Friday? Really?
Well, I mean,
if you had a 4-day pass,
who are you to speak how the Belgians live?
That's true. I mean, there's a real there was only Belgians there and race car drivers. That's from what I understood.
Well, it's out in the forest in the middle of nowhere. So,
yeah, exactly.
I'd be sad if we do lose Spa. If this is the first step of it being eliminated off the calendar, I definitely will be sad about that. But
it just
you can
produces
see,
good racing. And I know the weather is traditionally sometimes an issue.
probably every second
Work
year.
around that. I just think you look at tracks that should never be off the calendar. Tracks like that, Monza, Canada, and Monaco. But
Sao
then
Paulo.
Monaco, if you're just going to look at cars that, or races that actually produce good racing, which is what we're all here to see, like Spa's not the one to go.
Yeah. Well, I think looking at how the cars really struggled on some of those straights, it was like, did they ever get that rectified here over the regs?
Probably not. No.
Or is that like this track just doesn't suit that type of car now?
No, you're correct about that. I mean, which produced some interesting moments. Lap 1 was absolute chaos, and you've probably never seen that before. A driver go from second to first to third in the first sort of 2.5 Ks of the track is very strange. But you're right. The fact that they turn into standard V6 EVs, bloody Camrys, halfway down the front straight is a problem. I mean, there's nothing they can do to, unless they put a big engine in it purely for Spa, a one-off,
which is never going to happen.
80-20 thing, produce 800 horsepower just for this track, which will never happen. That's the only way they can make these cars actually have a great product on the track as far as... And onboards. I said there wouldn't be many onboards, man. Overkill with onboards. Too many onboards. Like, hide it from us. I prefer you hide it from us than have to hear that all the time because it was a bit yucky.
All right, so I think where I want to start for this weekend, and it's probably the thing I'm most skeptical on, so I'm interested to know how you feel about it. The George Russell incident with Hamilton. So there was 2 major incidents, both involving Ferraris, different Ferraris, 2 different incidents. The first one is George being taken out of the race in a clang with Hamilton.
Yeah, lay down the law there.
Well, no, that's not my opinion.
Oh, okay. That's how you.
Well, he was. Sorry, he DNF'd the race. Okay,
he was in an incident.
Now, my question really is: do you think that he was innocent in this? Do you think it was Hamilton's fault? That's probably the first question. But I'm more interested in the narrative around who's at fault here. Is it the car or is it George? So George he very fiercely went onto the offense of like, I'm sick of this shit with the car. There's a problem here. He's got a different car to me.
Yeah.
This is what caused me to have the incident.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe that. I think I watched the onboard of like him going through a rouge and down that front straight.
Yeah.
And in comparison to Kimi, it didn't look like Kimi was streaking away and had like tons more power than George. It actually looked like they were quite even.
Yeah.
So whatever power limitations he seemed to have, it seemed that Kimi had the same issue as well. And he did get overtaken by Verstappen. Yeah. He managed to get that position back.
I mean, just real quick on that, I got a sneaky suspicion. I wonder if Kimi was more than happy to let Max go,
knowing
into
the deployment would come
knowing
handy
that
later.
That second part of that straight out of Eau Rouge up to turn 5 is where you're really going to pick up some pace.
So what I'm saying is I think that it's more driver issue, not car issue.
So on the incident itself, I agree with Martin Brundle. I agree with George himself.
Jeez, I didn't think we would ever say those words.
I agree with George himself, who, let's not forget, ended up in the gravel out of the race, who even said, there was a racing incident, Lewis did nothing wrong, I did nothing wrong.
Yes, but he did say that before Hamilton was given a penalty.
Yeah, 100%.
So
that's when he's going to be the most honest.
Does he change his answer knowing?
Well, he doesn't have to. A driver, they normally use the media to get their point across before a penalty. They normally jump on the radio. You hear it all the time. Oh, there's going to be a penalty. They've got to give that back. They do that to try and manipulate a result.
Naturally.
The fact that George was happy to go on camera well before the stewards made a decision and say, it was just a racing incident. He said that he could have used that moment to be like...
But is that because he thought maybe he was at fault?
No, he did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong at all. And I also just don't think Lewis did nothing wrong. The fact is they normally look at lap 1 incidents as going, the cars are well below optimal as far as their temperature and their ability.
Yeah.
George makes a ballsy move around the outside. He's well inclined to do it. He was in a space to do it. Lewis is always going to be a little bit more... squeezed on the inside. Like, that's a risk that George is making. Yep. Lewis said it himself. He washed out a little bit. Like, it wasn't intentional. He got a slight snap of oversteer and he just lazily just understeered into him. I mean, Lewis's car was fine. It was a pretty light tap. It just happened to flick George around into gravel. If there's no gravel there, George drives off too.
He's very lucky he actually came away.
He's very lucky. I thought he was out. So I think that was pretty damn harsh, especially what comes next with the other Ferrari. I think that was harsh. I think that should be a racing incident. Lap one's always looked upon a lot more lightly than the rest of them.
I agree. I think that 100%. How is that not a racing incident? You could, based off everything that we could see, there was nothing malicious in Hamilton's defense.
Yeah, I mean, he may not have even known he was around the outside to that point where maybe he put a bit. He entered with more pace into the corner, expecting there to be a bit more space on the outside, and then all of a sudden George is there, and the cars are less manoeuvrable on lap one.
Well, that's always going to be the risk on an outside overtake too.
Exactly, and that's why they both have to just. George put himself there; he didn't have to.
So that's what is leading me to that second part of can we? Is the car really to blame here?
Well, I mean, remind me where George qualified.
Fourth,
I think. Where was he running?
Fifth. Yeah.
What did he think? He's had supercharging boosters that are going to drive him up to third. All he did was lose a spot, but with a car that was right up his clacker with the draft.
He didn't
drop to eighth, ninth.
He didn't need to panic and try and gain all the positions.
This is what I don't understand. Like you said it right. Kimi may have had the same pace. He was in the lead. He was up the front. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And then there's so much that goes into it with this battery stuff. You know, they got to recharge the battery, or they got to build the battery up in their lap to the grid. You can use it off the grid. You could use it up to Eau Rouge. I'm sure you could drain it in that time. We don't know what George did. And of course, he's going to come out on the attack of the car because this is his new narrative he's settled into, is they're not reliable. There's always some issue that seems to be hampering him. But we saw Max go from first to third down that same straight. We didn't see him get collected by anybody. We didn't see him do any desperate move.
No,
he didn't even block. He stayed to the left.
Well, his words were he got swallowed up by the pack, but it was like
one car. And if you paid closer attention, he may not have even.
The way he sort of played it, he made it sound like he had no power at all, and that he literally just dropped back and the whole field overtook him. Yeah. But that wasn't the case at all. Like I said, if you watch his onboard, he doesn't drop a ton of. He gains on Kimi Antonelli, if anything, on that front straight. Yeah. The where he is before Eau Rouge compared to where he's at the end of the, he's much closer. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to me that whatever his car issue was, Kimi wasn't suffering as well if there was an issue.
Like, did he not have battery, or did others save their battery for a little bit later down that straight? And this is what the whole season's been about. But it's what's frustrating listening to him talk.
Sorry.
Yeah, 100%. This is what's frustrating, getting frustrating with him. It seems to be every race. There's some issue. And then I love it because they even said during qualifying or something, I mean, George was off the pace all weekend. And they even said the Mercedes team, the mechanics, the engineers, they're just as perplexed because they've got to listen to what George has to say. But then when they're looking at the car, breaking down the data, it's like,
it's not showing.
We're not seeing what you're sort of saying. So, I think the proof's in the pudding that George is just not doing a good job.
He's exposed.
Yeah, and he's blaming the car, which is something that you just never used to get away with in Formula One as well.
Team bosses would shut that down. Yeah. And Toto is being very lenient, and maybe it is because, George has been quite loyal to them, so it wouldn't be the greatest of looks to just all of a sudden turn on him publicly. We know
turn on him.
We know what modern Formula One is like. Nobody wants to be a villain anymore. Everybody plays nice guys. Everybody's friends with each other. They're going to save all that for behind the scenes. I mean, there was a camera cut in FP1, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was FP1. George wasn't in the car yet, and he was in the pits, headset on, reviewing data or whatever. And they cut onto him, and he had the biggest, blackest bags under his eyes. And it literally looked like he had the fear of God put into him. And it's either that or he's getting too many sleepless nights. And I don't think it's for fun reasons. No. I think it's for non-fun reasons.
Yeah. He's got Kimi in his head.
Yeah, I think it's all unraveling. From going into the season, everyone was talking about this is his season. Yeah. The Mercedes is the favorite to win. They've got the best car. Everything all the ducks have lined up for him now. Yeah. And it's just crumbled so quickly within 10 rounds.
And I love that this was, again, not his fault, but he was a contributing factor. It wasn't something completely out of his hands. We've seen from both Mercedes, but in recent times from Kimi, some wretched luck. when it comes to mechanical.
Well, we spoke about this like 2 weeks ago. They both had bad luck, but I would actually say Kimi's had the worst luck.
I think it balanced out, if not sort of started leaning towards Kimi. If anything, if you look at points lost, it probably hurts Kimi more. I think Kimi has DNF'd out of P2, if not contending for P1s a number of times, whereas George is, had an issue running not for the lead or for P2 even. So I think if you look at overall points lost, I think Kimi's lost more overall points. I think they might have had very similar amount of mechanical DNFs. But then, this one with George, it's a racing incident or a Lewis's fault apparently, but it's not a Mercedes took it away from him with an issue.
This era of Formula One is interesting to me because, as we've grown up with the sport, a lot of when we got into it quite young, you'd hear all these stories about, drivers and number 2 drivers and how many people come and go, and you forget about, I forgot he was even in Formula One. And, how little world champions there are. Like, it's not a sport where you're getting a cycle of a new champion every year. It's these drivers who go on big chunks of dominance, And you hear about, like, some of the most famous number 2 guys, or you hear about some of the people that they almost got there. They all, and you'll see them come into the media, and their thing won't be world champion. It'll be like 6-time Grand Prix winner, or 10-time pole sitter, or some bullshit like
600
that.
600 starts.
And it feels like we're witnessing that in real time with George. It feels like, we've said it before. His season, we already called this season was cooked rounds ago. It looked like he's got nothing to answer Antonelli with. Now it's just getting sadder and sadder. I think if you're a George fan and you believe him and you're playing into his narrative, I think you're looking at him and you're going, he doesn't have the same car. This is biased towards Kimi Antonelli. They're not taking care of George in the same way that they're taking care of Kimi. But if you don't have the skin in the game, you're a little bit more removed, and you look at it for what it is. You go, okay, he had no pace in qualifying. He couldn't touch Antonelli for pole, so already he's put himself at a disadvantage. You can't compete there.
Yeah.
So now he's got to fight multiple cars. He's not now just fighting one Mercedes. Now he's fighting 2 Ferraris, a Red Bull,
a McLaren every now and then,
and a Mercedes. He's still got that. And he's making these like silly decisions. Like he didn't have to overtake Hamilton there. He could have remained a bit more patient. We don't really know what his race pace could have been, whether he could have found a groove with the car and made some attacks. We saw Ferrari greatly benefit from a VSC. He could have benefited from a VSC, and he could have found himself all of a sudden ahead of Antonelli, like the Ferraris did. But now he has a bit more confidence in himself and maybe the car to hold off Antonelli. But this one lapse in judgment cost him the whole race, and now he's further down in the championship than he ever has been.
He's still third?
He's back into third, and I think that, we're seeing someone who's crumbling. I don't think he has it in him to rise up to that level of Antonelli and overcome it.
No.
So
George is too emotional. He's been emotional his whole career. Like, the amount of times we've seen this guy cry. I mean, I believe we opened up our whole show a year ago with some George cry moments and memes. Because it's just a thing with this guy. And they said we didn't physically see his interview, but the commentary team did, and they said, apparently he was on the verge of tears, and it sounded like he was on the verge of tears, which is very common for that bloke. But I think that's the thing. He's getting beaten. His ass is getting beaten week in and week out, and it'd be getting to him. He probably beats himself up and gets all sad boy come Sunday morning when he spends all weekend looking at the back of Antonelli and can't compete, and it'd be eating at him. Whereas you got someone like Antonelli, he's just positive at all times.
He's doing everything right too. Like, you watch him, I don't know how much of the pre-race stuff that you watch, but you watch how he interacts with the crowd, you watch how he interacts with like the grid kids. He's playing the role of this like confident champion. Like, he's being very likable. He's creating a bit of a personality for himself that even people like us who, we don't care about Mercedes and we don't have any Italian connections. There's nothing that we can still appreciate what he's doing. He's very likable. There's nothing you can say about the guy that you dislike. The way he approached Monaco was something that you really, got a hard on over.
Big time.
So
still recovering.
He's doing all these things that's making him just everybody's kind of becoming a fan. So it's like, whilst we might be watching or witnessing a driver unravel rather than being able to kind of rise to an occasion through George, we're seeing someone else who's like taking that mantle off of guys like Hamilton.
Yeah.
Maybe Verstappen's always kind of played a bit of a villain. He hasn't kind of, I think as he's grown and he's matured, he's become a lot more likable. But this kid kind of knows how to like work a crowd and be entertaining and give the fans someone to root for, even when they don't necessarily have any interest in him. So
that's the difference between him and George. We've seen even last year with Kimi's struggles at times. Never saw him cry. Never saw him beating himself up. You think about George's comeuppance in the sport. I remember it was at Spa one year. Williams, he was on the verge of scoring Williams a point. It's going to be his first point in F1. It's all great. He spins himself out and loses that point, and then there he is crying about it. And then you see his Mercedes win slip away, manipulated away, so they could save Bottas.
Yeah.
What do you see? George sitting there crying about it. It's like, man, this happens to a lot of people, this sort of bad luck, and you don't see many people sitting there and crying about it on TV. And we've seen him many times crying about it. And it's like,
he's a sensitive soul.
I don't know if you're trying to manipulate people into,
manufacturing sympathy.
Yeah, do you want sympathy fans? Is that what it is? Because
pity fans.
Yeah, it's just it's not how you go about it. And again, if you're sensitive, you're sensitive. If you want to cry, but put on a tough face for the fans, for the people. You got.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, let's we're spending half the show talking about George, but let's compare him to Ricciardo. We had to watch Ricciardo. Kind of deal with that with Verstappen and how he approached it. And then once he sort of left the sport and came back, or even like the end of his McLaren run where he was getting handed by Lando, and then when he was in Racing Balls and it was all going dreadful. You could see how much it was affecting him and how much it was killing him. But you know what? He always tried to find the positive in the moment.
Yeah, and he'd still put on a smile and a thumbs up for the camera and for his fans.
Yeah. And that made us respect him and ride all those highs and lows with him.
And it made you, and you got that bit of, and again, you wouldn't have been after any sympathy, but you got that bit of sympathy for him. You're like, because you just don't know either. He doesn't know, you don't know, and it was hard to watch him sort of go down like that.
Sorry to bring the pod down there for a second.
Yeah.
All right. So
Daniel Ricciardo moments are meant to be like high energy, brings the pod up.
Yeah.
Don't bring that shit again.
Sorry. My apologies. Okay, let's move on to the second penalty real quick.
Yes.
So clearly you're saying...
so the second lack of penalty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're clearly of the opinion that Leclerc was at fault and he should have been penalised.
Yeah, so I agree with Martin Brundle on this one. He
Martin, 2 for 2.
Yeah. Well, apparently not. 0 for 2 if you ask the FIA.
You know what I think about the FIA. I think they're very corrupt, and I think these sorts of calls show that. I think...
Well, this whole race kind of...
I think the VSC show that.
This whole race kind of stands for me. The F in FIA stands for Ferrari at this point, because... I don't know. Moving on to brakes is illegal. And if you're defending or if you're definitely side by side, must leave a car width to the track. And as far as I'm aware, the white line is the track border. Always has been.
Yeah, you don't push a car off into the
just
grass.
because it goes from grass to curb doesn't make all of a sudden the track a metre wider.
It's a very good point.
You look at the white line and you look at Oscar. Not only does Oscar not drift towards Charles, he actually closes that gap up to the line. He actually opens his own corner up a little bit more, gives everyone a little bit more space. Yeah. And Charles still hits him on the way in. Like he's still drifting towards Oscar in the braking zone towards the corner. That is illegal in many ways. And then he also hits Oscar, causes damage. You don't know to what extent. Yeah, maybe that then also is why he lost the position in the end to Lewis. Like, again, championship points are money. Positions are everything. I just don't know how that move can happen and... it's all good and fun. It's play on. Like they shouldn't be dictating penalties on outcomes. And I got to wonder if George just spins and recovers, does Lewis get penalised? If Oscar gets a wheel blown off and he goes straight into the fence, race over, does Charles get penalised? I got to wonder in this race. I think those two penalties got dictated the way they did based on outcomes.
Every now and then you surprise me. Like I look at you and I think. This guy looks, just just dumb as hell.
Yeah,
But
give
then
it to
every now and then, look, the compliment is coming.
I'm waiting. I'm chomping. This is rare.
Every now and then you say something, I'm like, this guy knows his stuff, eh? And I think you hit the nail on the head where you said the penalty was issued from the outcome, not so much of the event itself. And I think that's the only way you can make it logical, right?
For both of those.
Because there's no other way that makes sense to me, where the first driver is penalised, but the second incident goes unpenalised.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Charles's reaction to it in the cool-down room.
Well, no, I did not.
But he kind of he's kind of watching it, and then it happens, and he sort of it's written all over his face. His eyes are, oh shit!
Yeah, okay.
Like, I got away with that one.
Yeah, got away with that.
And Verstappen looks at him and he says, "Calculated, right?"
Nice.
So they have like a little bit of a laugh of it. So even Charles knows that he kind of got away with one there.
Yeah, and then again, like I said, the VSCs play the way they do, which we'll get to. It just seems a lot of, they did penalise Hamilton, so a lot of favours went towards the Charles side of that of the race.
It seemed like
he benefited from a couple of things.
Yeah, it seemed like it was supposed to be his race to win for some reason, and every call was going his way.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's touch on Oscar real quick before we move into the categories.
Yeah.
So he's perpetually kind of stuck in this P7 land. Seems to constantly qualify P7. Thank God Hadjar hasn't quite come to terms with the Red Bull right now, because I'm starting to worry if he would be P8 even. But he managed to turn it around in the race, as he does.
Yeah.
This seems to be a little bit of an ongoing theme where it's like, can't qualify, can't beat Lando for shit in that one lap pace. But come the race, he can usually put something together, provided he gets the rub of the green. And that just has not been happening for him.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good race to watch from an Oscar point of view. Yeah, he had the great move on Hamilton, which the commentary team loved. Moves like that, to bring up something we've spoken about many times in the past, they don't have the same weight as they used to.
No.
They talk about the Mark Webber move on Alonso, and again, have to agree with Martin Brundle. One of the best moves you've ever seen at Spa.
Martin, 3 for 3 on the podcast.
This guy, he had a great run. He had a great run. That move that Mark put on Alonso in 2010, highlight moment. And it's because, again, you look at those cars, you look at how hard they're out of control, and that corner's not the way it is now. It wasn't flat out back then. You didn't have all these extra aids to help. That was a move you had to make, because when else are you going to make it on that track? Ballsy move. And like they said, you put it on Alonso of all people. Yeah. They felt a little less weighted when the cars can go flat out through there.
And prime Alonso.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
It's not this,
Alonso.
2 minutes from the retirement home, Alonso.
He could barely get the car across the line straight, as we saw, which most people probably missed. Yeah, that move, it's aided a lot by, no doubt, a bit of boost from Oscar or a lack of boost from bloody can't hold his nut Hamilton to get into Eau Rouge. And then, again, like I said, the cars have that much more downforce now. They can go through there flat out. The move's just less weighted. But, aside from that, it was a great move. He did have to do it. We saw last year he put a great move on Norris through that section up into turn 5. So he's got a history of having some balls through that section, Oscar.
Yeah, it was a highlight of the race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people online debating whether that was the move of the race or whether it was Colapinto's double overtake. And I watched the Colapinto one on the highlights, and I got to say, it was the most generic battery overtake I've ever seen. Yes, he got to overtake 2 cars, woohoo! But it was only because he had more battery than the other 2 cars.
And how much does it help that a teammate was one of those 2? Where unless you're in a Haas, where they generally try to avoid each other, teammates.
Yeah. So, stamp that one out real quick.
I was expecting, but then they were playing I think they had the onboard when Charles and Oscar actually got together. I think they were on board. And I remember thinking to myself, where's Hamilton right now? Because these two are side by side. Hamilton's getting a double toe.
Yeah.
I remember he was real close, and they kind of just cut to him, and he looked like he was thinking about the inside and sort of bailed out of the whole move. Probably smart. But
Oscar only just manages to position the car defensively enough from Hamilton not to lose a place after
the incident.
Hit. Yeah.
After getting Leclerc.
Yeah.
They mentioned later in the race that that Mercedes actually gave Antonelli a heads up, he's probably going to squeeze you on the outside there. When you get a reputation like that, it's not good.
Yeah,
for Charles. He did the same thing to Hamilton. Like, he literally pulled the same move on Hamilton. Hamilton
And
just...
that's his teammate.
Yeah, exactly. Hamilton just kind of bailed a little early. He didn't run into their side-by-side.
The only reason Hamilton avoided contact is because they're teammates, whereas if anyone else, he probably gets another...
You stick around the outside, you get pushed off, then you go and whinge to the FIA. Anyway, back to Oscar. It was a good race to watch. Disappointing. He finished 5th, I think. So he lost that position at the end, but stuff was falling off his car. I mean, we saw the big piece fall off with the Charles incident, and then later in the race, there was a bit more carbon fall off. And I think they said it was floor or side pod. Like, generally, like, they retire cars for that type of damage. So the fact that he had the pace he did does make you wonder.
It was sideboard, as Oscar said, but more on the wing, I think, and like the front of the floor. But I don't think anything hit the pod.
Okay. So, well, still, floor damage is pretty detrimental in these cars.
Yeah.
Maybe less so in the non-ground effects.
They say stupid shit that you're expected to understand. Like he's losing 4 points of downforce, and you're like, okay,
out of what? What's out of 10? Because that's a lot. Out of 1,000, he can probably be fine, right?
Yeah.
You got to wonder. Like, he seemed to even like at times have pace on max, even with that damage. So you got to wonder without that incident, does he? Yeah, I reckon he was on for a 3rd place.
I think he was a good chance for a podium today for sure. Yeah.
Brundle's also, to agree with Brundle, he mentioned probably one of Oscar's biggest issues was tyre wear at the back end of a stint, because as soon as you do lose the exact design of that front wing and the way airflow goes on the wheels, you do lose.
It's going to grain more,
like it. So he comes out of the pits and he's dynamite, and then towards the back end of the stint he faded, just like the first stint.
Do we need to rename the podcast Box Brundle?
Oh. Box Brundle.
Kind of like that,
I kind of do like that.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well,
there's more Brundle than banter in this episode, so
Well, you're the one who keeps bringing him up. You know,
he had a great run. This is an all-time Brundle bloody
performance. Yeah. Save that for the highlight reel.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to cover real quick before we move into the categories?
Nah, I think we're good. I think we're well and truly covered.
We'll have a lot of other things in the categories that we can have a little powwow over. So, okay, the first achievement, as always, is the final boss achievement.
Ooh, classic.
So the final boss, whoever was the most dominant driver on the day.
On the day.
As
in just Sunday. Just GP day.
Well, you know, at the Grand Prix weekend.
All right, weekend. Yeah. Just wanted some clarification.
Okay, sorry. So I don't want to confuse you. I know you're easily confused.
Sorry to pluralise that. Our fan.
We've been doing this for a year and a half now. So, you know, our core listener base on Spotify and YouTube, they know what's up. We don't need to explain to them. We trust them.
Yeah. Let's just assume no one's new here. It's a safe it's a safe bet. All right, let's get into it.
Hey, the algorithm, if anyone can figure out the algorithm, you know, flick me a message. I got a crisp $10 bill for you.
I'll tell you what, I've got more than that, because they say consistency is key. And I don't want to get down a rabbit hole here, but damn, I don't know how we can be more consistent.
You know what does help? Not leaving green screen images to black out for 20 minutes. But, you know, that's...
Yeah, I didn't know we brought Chris back.
Yeah, look, he you know, just helping a friend out.
Yeah, a bit of a fail. That's right.
Okay, so the 3 contenders for the final boss are Kimi Antonelli, for reasons.
Yep. Self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Did he get a grand... No, he didn't get a Grand Slam. He didn't.
Oscar Piastri... his overtake on Hamilton through Eau Rouge, which we just covered.
Yep.
That's a pretty final boss moment,
I'd say that's myself. There's definitely the overtake of the race. I'd agree with your fan.
Or the third one, the VSC giving Ferrari a cheap pit stop and almost giving Charles the win off of it. So let me elaborate on that one, just in case anyone's not on the same page.
Right.
So we get 2 VSC back-to-backs for seemingly the same debris.
Yeah.
Then we see the footage, and I noticed that they rarely show footage of marshals on track or them cleaning up. You rarely actually see what they do.
I wonder if that is precautionary, because you just never know what may happen with marshals on track.
It could be precautionary, but you know, like, I don't know. There is a part of me that I'm like, if there's a stoppage, why don't you show us why and what they're doing?
It's definitely, you get the VSC, and even the country's like, oh, VSC, what's going on? Oh, we're hearing it's for debris.
Yeah. So anyway, we see a marshal running looks like back towards the fences.
Yeah.
But then the VSC stays on for like another solid minute.
Yeah.
Just enough time for Ferrari to make their way halfway around the back end of the track, dive into the pits, get the cheap pit stop, and then come out ahead of the leaders.
Bernie had enough time to explain that, you know, props to the FIA. They seem to be timing out these VSCs to not allow any unfair advantages. And then she barely got that sentence out, and it's like, oh, Leclerc's in. Oh, Hamilton's in. Oh,
Yeah.
Oscar's in. And everyone's in. And we're ending now that they're all out on the track. It was very odd. I mean, failing to clean up the debris during the first VSC is a bit of a fail, especially when they end it and then Kimi pits.
Yeah.
Like, they pulled the yellows in as Kimi is sort of entering that last that last chicane. That's sus. And then, they pull it back out a couple laps later for the same debris. Nothing else happened. It have still been the same debris.
Yeah.
And then it stays out long enough for the two Ferraris to get service.
Seems very convenient, doesn't it? What would you say the F in FIA stands for Ferrari?
Yeah.
Certainly this weekend it felt like that. So.
I mean, how much further? I mean, we might see a hit on Kimi. Because I don't know how much further the FIA can go to try to pull this thing back off him. Clearly, manipulating races is not working. He's able to overcome that.
Yeah. Well, that's almost like in sport, like some of the biggest sporting moments, some of the any time a player or a team.
Give me one.
Look,
Come on,
off
give me
the top
a
of the
sporting
dome.
moment.
Off the top of the dome, I couldn't. But maybe you could think of one when I give it the example. Okay.
Put me on the spot, jeez.
Of like overcoming adversity or being a bit of an underdog, and everything just seems to be every call's going against you, but then somehow you find that like next level of greatness to overcome, and it's like no one can hold us down.
Knicks.
You reckon Knicks?
Yeah.
Wow.
This postseason against Wemby.
Interesting.
I mean, look at all those calls in some of them games.
Yeah.
More on that next season.
It kind of feels like that a little bit, like where like this kid is supposed to win. Let's just crank up the degree of difficulty a little bit more and make sure that everyone stays tuned until the end, you know? So, anyway, who would you like to award the final boss to and why?
You know what? No, I've got to give it to Kimi. I was going to say the FIA because Kimi's got enough of these awards, but if that was their approach, they failed. Charles still, unfortunately, didn't have the pace. I mean, at one point, Kimi was 3 odd seconds behind Leclerc with sort of 10 to go, and you go, Charles has fresher tyres.
Mm-hmm. Only had just sort of got past Norris, I think.
Yeah, not the tyres matter, but he has fresher tyres. The Ferrari, the Mercedes didn't really pull away in that first stint either.
No,
like he only kind of got 2 odd seconds down the road from Max, and that was even after Bono gave him hammer time clearance. Yep. So I was like, he may do this. There's enough sort of balls in his court to make this happen. But then, Kimi he's relentless. He's relentless.
He is, yeah. I mean, I still do sit there and watch him, and I think, how much of this are we watching his car? How much of it is driver?
I think driver is a massive contributing factor right now.
I mean, the only comparison you can never really truly have is against his teammate, and look at what he's doing to poor old George.
Yeah. And these cars, let's not forget, it's not like a V8 supercar for anyone listening that understands. The V8 supercar, they got the same car, the same chassis normally all year, 2 years, the same bit of metal. Like unless they write it off or there's some major issue, they drive that same hunk of metal 2-3 years. It doesn't change. Formula One cars get rebuilt, stripped, pulled apart during the race weekend. Mm-hmm. They've got effectively a whole brand new chassis, a whole brand new car every weekend. It's not like, the way he carries on, you'd think they suspect that there's a crack in the chassis, something that's really softened the car up, something that you don't see without massive investigation. But that's not how Formula One operate. They get a new everything, like race to race. The car gets fully stripped down to just a monocoque between events. That's not... the cars don't get put in the transporter as they are on the track. They get stripped and put back in their Lego box. Like they don't roll out of the truck and go sit in the corner of the shed and then go back in the truck and go again. It's not like normal motorsports. Yeah, okay. So I agree that Kimi does deserve it, the award, first of all. Yep. So he does deserve the final boss. And I do agree that you have to say that he clearly is very talented, assuming nothing nefarious is going on with George. But I got a question for you real quick. Whether you know the answer or not, I don't know. But I guess that's why you ask questions. It pipped my ear, and this is why I started thinking about it. Power units. You only have a certain allocation per season. So there's a little bit of chatter now around, should George just take a new power unit? If he's convinced that there's something wrong with this power unit, get a new one, maybe get some confidence back, sort of get through after the summer break, kind of try to get a reset. The power units, are they provided by the FIA or are they manufactured individually? No, they're manufactured by the engine manufacturers, Mercedes.
So the FIA have no hand in
Besides the rules, no.
the power units themselves,
Besides the rules,
aside from the regulations.
the rules, regs, and I think they're all sealed. So
Yeah.
seals have to be broken by the FIA and reapplied by the FIA.
Okay,
if they don't do
so
anything.
the FIA do touch the engines.
Yeah, I believe it'd be like they'd have representatives that go to Mercedes, and if Mercedes need to pull apart an engine or do something to an engine, there's seals that show if they've been tampered with. So Mercedes go, we're going to rip this engine up and do something to it. The FIA will know.
So, I love a conspiracy. So where I'm going with this is if there is a conspiracy at play here, and George is adamant that it's not him, that he has the ability to do it, something is wrong with the car, there is a point at which either A, Mercedes are doing something to the car and hiding it from George, because, let's be honest, right? You're there to drive a car. If someone shows you data on a screen and goes, no, look, it matches up. I mean, to what level do you think that couldn't be manufactured or altered or changed, or do you even know what you're looking at?
Yeah.
So there's one line there, right?
Yeah.
Or B, the FIA know a thing or two about engines, and they can have an effect on the engines too.
No, I don't think they...
To ensure that the script is followed the way that they want it to be followed.
Yeah, well, hey, if there's ever a script, I think Formula One's proven that they could do the best they can to script these things out.
Yeah.
We've seen that many times in the past. But I don't think the FIA would be involved in anything tampering-wise with inter-team stuff. I think, for sure, they wish Ferrari would win every single race. And they will tamper whatever they can to get Ferrari up the front. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they would ever go inter-team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
I would like to think, here we are 2 years in a row, with heavy on the team conspiracy within team dynamics and two teammates. But
look, and maybe
again, I don't think
maybe it is the more surface level where a driver can just lose it all of a sudden.
Yeah,
and they can't even explain it.
And I think George is a prime example of a driver. I don't want to do this twice this episode, but let's compare him to Daniel Ricciardo. We said this months ago. Is his career starting to look more like a Daniel Ricciardo? Hot start, unfortunately derailed by a generational talent, and then things start to go downhill pretty quick. Is that what we're looking at with George? And the mental part of the game is 50%. Are you built for it or not? You look at last year was a good example between the top three of the attention to detail you need to put everything together to succeed. Rosberg retired because of it, because he finally did it. Gives it up, gives it all up, gives up his life dream, the money, that was enough for him, because what goes into it. If you lose that, if you start to struggle, and I think that is more realistic. Is George is actually just he's good, but he's not Kimi Antonelli good. He's not Max Verstappen good. He's not Lewis Hamilton good. He's not just light the wick and go.
It's a hard reality to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to perform, and you've got to put in the miles, and you've got to put in the hard yards, and he's doing all that, and it's not working for him.
You know what it is? 6 months ago, he started the season, and he was like, I am a Verstappen. I am a Hamilton. I am an Alonso.
Yeah.
6 months later, he's like, oh, shit, maybe I'm a Sainz. Maybe I'm a Bottas.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's probably also what's happening is he probably drove this car in preseason testing, and he went, we're on. And he probably thinks the team's going to have his back. They probably told him they have his back. And then you have that mentality to start a season, not you got to go out and earn it. Kimi Antonelli probably didn't think he was going to come into this season and be given anything for free. He's going to have to go out and take everything. Everything he gets is a win.
Okay, well, that was a nice way to talk about the final boss. So, all right, the next achievement is the noob achievement. So I have for you today the Ferrari mechanic that stood there and watched the pit stop unfold before deciding to make a front wing adjustment.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've
I
watched
haven't
the
seen
footage,
the full
but
footage.
basically it's his own fault. And as the guy who has literally one job, and I can't understand why he literally stands there, watches everyone else change tires, then they drop the car, and then he moves in to actually make the wing adjustment.
Oh, that's funny.
So he's very lucky that Hamilton was very switched on in that moment, because I wouldn't blame any driver, and we've seen it with Raikkonen. Just as soon as you see green, you're focused on getting the lead back, and you're just
green is
pedal to the floor, and you're out.
Simple.
But luckily, he just caught enough, and he had the sense to not continue forward. Otherwise, he was going to get munched. So.
Yeah, and his pit stop was already in tatters. He had a 5 second hold, and
It's just like Ferrari. You can just feel they're on the cusp of like you can do it. You can get back to this like this pristine greatness.
Yeah, they're starting the clown makeup's washing off, but there's just like a bit there they just can't quite.
It just keep doing these silly things that you don't see other teams do. Like, what have you seen Red Bull run over there in mechanic? Like, it just it doesn't happen, you know. So maybe it does, and it's just in my mind. So
it's funny because the shot I've seen, it's more of a close up. Mm-hmm. So I didn't see that mechanic until he came into shot to try to do the change. So,
no, you can see.
But that's what I'm saying. Just from what I've seen, he's not even in the shot until the car drops, and then so I'm like, what?
No. If you watch the onboard, you can see him just standing there, literally watching. It's like he just zones out.
Well, probably because of the 5-second penalty, he probably I don't know. Close his eyes. This thing happens in 2 seconds once they go.
He obviously didn't.
Did he blink?
Yeah.
Right as they got the go call, and he's like, oh shit.
And like the worst thing is too, like he didn't even get it. He's
got a pissed off Hamilton when he gets back to after being run over by the bloke, and then he's got to come in
and then still doesn't even get the wing adjust. So it's like, all right, now the whole back half of my race is
kind of
screwed,
funny that Hamilton. Oh God, is he okay? He's okay. Yeah, and it's great. He's all fine. And then 5 minutes later, did you not get the wing adjustment done? Are you fucking serious? Oh great. But the guy drives like shit now. What am I supposed to do? That was funny. That was like. Yeah, he's the bloke you ran over and you're real caring, and then now you realize your car's driving like a handful, and you're like, no, not good enough, sack him. Yeah.
Ferrari. Second nominee is Hamilton binning it in the last minute of FP3. Now that has got to be a cardinal sin of all cardinal sins.
Well, that's their Q3 prep runs. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't want to see it because. There's only like normally 2 hours between Q3 and
it was 2.5 hours.
FP3 so and Q3
from when the session finished and his car was in pieces on the side of the road, 2.5 hours to start qualifying. So miracle that they got it there.
It's a miracle. Like some of the rebuilds these teams get done. I mean, I reckon it's the third. I thought it'd be okay, but I reckon it's the third crash we've seen this year where it's kind of like,
he's just lucky that the car's more battery than gearbox these days. So,
well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Every time they get a rear end hit sideways on the axle, you've got to worry about that axle being pushed into the gearbox. And we saw with Charles years ago, it's like, God, do you risk it and put a gearbox in, they get the penalty, or do you go out and or do you change it to be safe? I mean, he had qualifying sessions and stuff to go to test that theory.
Yeah.
Because they don't know.
No. So, in the last minute of the last practice session, naughty.
It was quite an interesting whack too.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he run wide and then cross the track?
Very wide, Like he went through the whole gravel and everything.
It's almost like he kept pushing, even though he was running wide. It's very Oscar of him. Run wide into the gravel, keep pushing. It seemed like that's what he sort of did, and that. That's probably the sin there.
It's like, I can save the lap.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the sin. That's probably when you go,
it got airborne too.
It's practice. Yeah. Calm down. Like, push the lap, but if you're on the verge of making that mistake, maybe just call it.
I mean, you've only had like 21 seasons at this thing, or whatever it is now. Yeah. So, okay. And the third noob nominee goes to the driver of the day vote for giving it to Charles Leclerc.
We've seen this.
So,
plenty of times.
Those of you who are quite sharp listeners, you'll notice that Ferrari got all 3 nominations. But I mean, very strange that I can only imagine that Charles, paid off the right people this weekend.
Well, I was going to say, the FIA, they really got a lot of bots out there.
They were like, Charles, we're sorry, we couldn't get you the win.
Yeah.
How does driver of the day sound?
Yeah. I'm surprised there's not a stat out there that they show for how many drivers have won.
Yes, because the Formula One are all about, clarity.
Yeah. I'd just like to see, is it Max? Yeah, the most winningest driver probably since the
If there's anything that Formula One are known for, it's their transparency.
Yeah, you're right.
More on that to come. So, who do you think gets that noob award?
What was the first one? I like the first one.
The first one was the wing adjustment guy.
Yeah,
not adjusting the wing during the pit stop and waiting for the pit stop to be able to adjust the wing.
He's definitely sacked, so look out for his job application.
I could do that.
Teams out there.
I could do that. I should apply for that.
I don't know. I reckon that looks hard.
I've got good reflexes. I could there is a thing about getting the tool in the hole. That can always be a bit of a fumble.
In 2 seconds.
But, I'm pretty good at that 80% of the time.
Getting the tool in the hole?
Yeah, getting it in the hole. So I could, jimmy it in there and and then all you got to do is remember which way is lefty, loosey, righty, tighty, right?
Well, I think they use a rattle gun.
No, he had like a little...
It's like a hand tool.
Yeah, he had
That's
like a
crazy.
little thing. Yeah.
I don't pay enough attention on them. The pit stops go by so fast. There's 15 gorillas crawling over the thing. Like, it's hard to actually track exactly what's going on at all times.
Mm.
So,
and yet somehow they're still not fueling.
that's because they can't fit more people around the car.
Yeah.
They have to go down to 2 people to change each tyre instead of 3. You can't do
Which
that.
honestly,
Oh, don't get me wrong.
that's the way it should be. It should be 1 or 2 people.
Yeah. And hey, I'm not that impressed. You know, they always have to bring up, it takes 2 hours to get your card size changed down to the local shop, and he's got to do it in 2 seconds. It's like, okay, I don't have a spare set of rims and with tyres ready to go to down there. You know, there's a bit more involved.
Yeah.
Like,
no wheel alignments needed.
I'm not that impressed. I mean, it's pretty cool, but I'm not that impressed. It's been like,
it's funny how they'll fly there and flag over. We've got the fastest pit stops. It's like, oh yeah, what about race pace?
Yeah.
What's happened there? So are we giving it to the Ferrari mechanic then? Yeah. Okay.
Ferrari guaranteed noob this week, so good on them.
Yeah. All right. The buffed achievement. I will give you Isaac Hadjar going from P21 to P6 and even holding off Norris at the end there too, which I thought for sure he wouldn't. Being that his tyres were about 20 laps older.
He did the whole race, didn't he?
Pretty much, yeah. Bar like 6 of them.
Yeah. So, true. It's 20 laps older.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's 40 laps total.
Verstappen getting a podium. Nice little buffed weekend for them.
Yeah.
All the sads and sorries that they've been going through. He's back on the podium.
Yeah.
So nice to see. And Bortoletto being best of the rest, getting P8. So you've got all the other guys in the other 7 positions. Obviously, George didn't quite make it, but Bortoletto, he comes through.
Comes in to take that coveted 8th place. It's as good as a win for these guys.
That coveted 3 points, I think it is.
Maybe 4. But yeah, I'm going to give it to Gabe, eh? I mean, I know Red Bull had a strategy in qualifying and very impressive, but to be honest, with how well they seem to pull off the second lap, to be 3/10 behind Kimi isn't nuts. They said he dominated Sector 2 all season, all weekend. Like Sector 2 was Max's sector alone. And then Sector 3, he gets a great toe. I mean, that was like, the first time they did it was probably too far behind. That second one was like almost too close, but it kind of affected him. Like it must have been all positive. So to be 3/10 behind after all of that, all of that sacrificing Hadjar. I know, he had nothing to play for, but you sacrifice Hadjar, you make his whole Q3 about help Max. To then be 3/10 behind.
Yeah, still not do it. Yeah.
But then Audi had this pretty smart strategy of who's the fastest car? Like, let's just follow them down the front straight, and then we know they're going to drive away because they're way better than us. And then just do a good lap. And that's what got him into Q3.
Honestly, like, why did more teams do that?
Yeah,
right,
everyone's so scared of the dirty air.
All right, tail him. Do what he does.
Yeah. Everyone's so scared of the dirty air, but Audi just like, you know what? Like, you only need, I mean, I don't know. When you hear the commentary talk, it sounds like you can get a slipstream from here to Brisbane from a Formula 1 car.
Yeah.
Like it's, you can be that far behind but still benefit from a slipstream, but then you also get the dirty air. So it's like they like to spread themselves out so far. Audi just like, nah, we'll take that risk.
It is a thing of like, all right, where's the sweet spot here? Where's the sweet spot between dirty air and getting an advantage?
Getting that toe, especially on this track where there's so many places to sort of generate a toe. They seem to have found that sweet spot. So, they had a plan in qualifying that took them all the way to success in the race. So I think that's great.
Yeah, he stayed clean, didn't he? So he was able to gain a couple more positions there at George's loss. And I'm going to push back a little bit and say, I mean, Hadjar was pretty impressive. I mean,
he was, but I'm not impressed by this hard tire. They said straight away, the hard tire can do the whole race. This is not a good thing. Yeah, we have to pit stop because there is a mandate to change tires. But the tire can do the whole race.
He's in a Red Bull too, so automatically you are better than the other 7 teams,
exactly.
8 teams.
Yeah, they're all glazing Norris. So he's starting 13th. He's got 4 cars to pass. That's going to be easy before he gets to the Racing Bulls, or whatever. And then they're like, oh my god, he's passing the Racing Bulls easily. What do you do? Hadjar. I mean, what a boring race. I mean, you're doing the whole race to just hitting numbers to make sure you tie last. But at the end of the day, I'm not that impressed. I hate tire management racing.
I messaged you and I said, there's no way Hadjar can do the whole race on these things, bar the 6 laps.
Hey, what was my response?
I know that.
What was my response?
We don't need to disclose what your response was. We do not need to disclose your filthy mouth. It was, but that was coming more from a point of like, no, surely not.
Okay.
Are we really? Yeah.
Context is missing in text messages.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. In brackets, I'll put the.
No, I thought you were serious, and I was like, I said, are you new here? It was a question. Are you new here? Because we've seen this many times. These tyres can do the whole Grand Prix.
It's just like, what just put concrete blocks on them at this point.
Yeah,
it's
literally.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. And then don't bring the hard tyre. Don't give it to the teams.
All right, I'll give it to Bortoletto as well because I don't want to reward that kind of behavior.
Exactly right. I mean, I was like, because, I wasn't paying full 100% attention under that. It was a full safety car, wasn't it? I was like doing other stuff. I was 100% locked in. And when I sat back down, I had a thought if everyone had pitted. And I was like, don't tell me your strategy just got evicted from this Grand Prix on lap 4.
True.
Because
that could have happened.
Yeah. If that would have been the worst. If we then just had to watch all the cars parade around for the next 40 laps, that would have ruined the whole race.
I'll admit I did doze off there for 10 laps, but if that had happened, I would have switched off and went to bed and made sure I got a good night's sleep.
That was the first thing that crossed my mind. I'm like, the fact that the tyres can do the whole whole race, teams aren't going to be afraid to pit now. I'm surprised more didn't, to be honest. But none of the competitors took that first safety car.
Okay, the nerfed achievement.
Yeah,
Oscar Piastri's downforce when Charles tried to assassinate him. That got nerfed.
True.
Kimi's pole lap was 4 seconds slower than last year's pole.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I saved that one for you. I made sure I didn't disclose that one.
Wow.
I wanted to get your live reaction.
I'd love to know.
I'm satisfied at how you responded.
Is that the biggest percentage differential this year? Track to track, year to year, same track year.
Yeah. Or from like the last season of the regs to the first season of the new regs.
Yeah, maybe. My concern is they're so slow because they're so slow down the straights. It's not even like they stripped all the downforce, the cars can't corner as quick. It's that the cars are just slow.
Clearly straight line speed because like you said, they're downshifting on the straights before they're even anywhere near a corner.
Like I love it. If you said there was 6 seconds down, but the cars are ragged, I'd be like, that's great. That's what we want. Give me 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds down. Make them lap in 2 minutes like it's wet.
And 4 seconds is literally eternity in Formula One.
Yeah.
So
when you do the quick maths, the Grand Prix could have been like 5 minutes quicker or more last year.
I could have got a little bit more sleep.
Exactly.
And then I would have been a bit more pepped up for this podcast.
Exactly.
Our listeners would just be even more locked in than they are right now.
Your energy.
I know that they're right here with us and they're loving every second of it, but they would have been even more on a high.
That's a neat fact. I'm looking forward to what your side quest is, because if if I had that, I would have saved that for a side quest.
My Easter egg.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry.
My Easter egg.
That's category of
maybe I can swap them around because my Easter egg isn't. It's more of a kind of one,
okay.
not a like a. Oh shit!
Okay, that's good to know. Right.
Yeah.
Well, what's your next?
Third one is Liam Lawson not getting upgrades that Lindblad did.
CC. I do remember that. Yeah. I was going to ask what happened to Lawson because everyone was going on about how great these RBs are, and then he finished 13th.
Seemed like he was the only RB who didn't get any kind of upgrade.
It did make me laugh because what they say in the commentary, the RBs basically dictate who gets the upgrades based on the week before.
Right.
It's like. What? Not about the whole season.
Leading the championship.
What is that the best season to date? Or
they're like, we never have a chance of winning, so like we don't need to worry about that.
That made me laugh. It's like, imagine me and bloody old mate Lawson. You got probably having a better season. You're not the rookie. You're the lead, senior driver. You've had bloody 4 years experience almost.
Yeah.
And then you get shafted on upgrades because of whatever happened in bloody Britain. And didn't they come like 5th and 6th or something? Like they both had ripping races.
It wasn't like he was down in 18th in the mud with Stroll.
That's hilarious.
Who do you want to award this one to? What are you feeling?
What was the first one again?
Piastri's downforce.
Nah, that one's no good. What's the next one?
Kimi's pole.
That's no good. It's got to be
4 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yep. Nah, I want to give it to Lawson.
Wow, you're a changed man.
Yeah.
Sympathetic to Lawson, praising Brundle. Who are you? I didn't even know you anymore.
It's more funny the way RB.
It's a completely stupid way to.
But like I said, it also it explains it. I was going to ask you earlier, but I didn't want to, admit to not paying enough attention during the race because I remember they were running pretty close together. I mean, when Norris was racing him, they were together, and all of a sudden,
I know you're probably live streaming. What NASCAR driver was eating for breakfast or something?
How do you know?
I know.
How do you know these things? I think Lindblad finished 9th, and Lawson was nowhere. He was 13th or 14th.
Out of the points, yeah.
So look who's not getting upgrades next week, Lawson. Sucker.
Yeah, you won't get those upgrades until you finish ahead of him. That's like eat your vegetables before you can eat your meat pie or whatever.
Yep. Vegetables and meat pie.
Yeah.
Is that a combo you rock?
I'm a little bit. Yeah, absolutely.
Meat pie is like with vegetables.
I haven't been in a while. I usually have my meat pies at
is like a
lunch.
standalone meal.
Yeah. Wait, you just don't eat vegetables, period. I know you.
That's rather here nor there.
I eat more meat pies at lunch than I do dinner these days. But absolutely, if I'm having dinner, I'm having a side of potato and
So
some,
I'll eat meat
some
pies
peas,
for breakfast and lunch
and dinner.
and dinner. Yeah. Sometimes dessert too.
All right, so Lawson gets nerfed. Well done to Lawson. AFK. So down to our last category before the Easter egg.
Let's go.
So basically, who or what was missing from the weekend?
Yeah.
Just in case you're new here. So number one, Verstappen's seat swap rumors.
Missing.
All a little bit quiet at the moment.
The only thing I heard was it Brundle? Shout out Brundle. Asked Flavio on the grid. And Flavio he's very strange. I don't know if you got that interview, if you're, off using the amenities.
I think the
or
old
something.
age is starting to hit him.
Yeah, he was kind of like, I think he just didn't know. I think he's just so out of.
I don't think he heard what Brundle said.
Yeah, maybe.
And just didn't know how to respond. And
he was playing it was just the whole interview was very weird, and he kind of just walked off.
Yeah.
It was a very strange interview, but that was the only time I heard. It was Brundle asked why he asked Flavio in the first place. It's interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, all the heat that we got. I mean, it probably is just the Formula One media making sure you stay locked in these off weeks. You know. So, number two, FIA's consistency with penalties, which we have thoroughly covered.
Yep.
Or number three, my personal favorite, Speedos. The Speedos went AFK. Now, I don't know how.
As in underwear?
No.
Oh.
No, in the speedometers.
Okay.
So I don't know how much attention you're paying. Clearly not enough. But they did not show us one Speedo the whole weekend. So there was no indication what speed they were doing down any of those straights.
It's about to get worse for Formula One because we're about to go to the Temple of Speed.
Yeah.
Records are broken.
They're going to have to rename it.
Yeah.
The Temple of Snails or something.
The Temple of Battery Conservation.
Yeah.
We're about to see a whole other level of this.
But that is like a staple of Formula One, right? Knowing what speed that you're doing. What are the factors that we measure everything on from the
360, 370 kilometers an hour, where it's just unfathomable speeds.
It's just gone. And it's like, okay, you're clearly hiding the information from us.
That's why I'm surprised they gave us the onboards.
Because why wouldn't you leave it on there, right? And then just say, well, yeah, we know. We know we're in this era where we're just trying to short shit out. No, it's completely just, look, we never had Speedos. They were never even here in the first place.
Yeah, just like in Japan. We never had onboards. We're talking about no onboards. We didn't have onboards. You don't need them. Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes both ways. I couldn't care less, to be honest, for me personally. If they never had Speedos...
So I'm interested. I was like, what kind of speed are they losing here from the start of the straight to the end?
I'm now intrigued because the fact that they're hiding it is it's like, are they now not even hitting 300 Ks? Are they literally Camrys?
I question it, eh?
Because they should be, again...
Like, at what point is it embarrassing for them enough to be like, just pull it?
Yeah, exactly.
Just pull it.
Exactly.
Like, is Hamilton at that back straight? Is he hitting like... maxing out like 250,
well, that's the funny thing. They probably do max out
to downshift.
Well, that's what I mean. They probably do max out at like 320, but then it's the drop off after that we see. The downshifts, they probably end. I mean, are they even braking for like turn 5?
At Monza, it's going to be.
It's so bad. I mean, that lap one. It was,
and you're welcome for that little bit of audio.
It was great. Spotify listeners loved it. Yeah. So they really get a grasp of what's going on in here. That lap one heading down to turn 5 was a mind melter. I mean, you got 5 cars, they're kind of going and then they're going back, and it's like watching people put Hot Wheels on treadmills, and it's just like they're just constantly going back and forth. You don't know what's going on. You got the slipstream effect, which is huge there, and then you got the battery effect, and everyone's deploying at different times, and it's all too soon, Junior. It was strange, and Monza's going to be Monza's going to be a mess. So right before the big season break, where it's going to be the biggest talking point, when we have no racing for 5 more weeks, and it's like Monza's going to be a cluster. So we're giving it to speedometers then? Yeah, speedos. All right, Easter egg. So the final category before we wrap it up. Give me yours. Give me yours. So they said this during the Grand Prix, and then admittedly, Crofty even said he didn't fact check it 100% himself, but. The first 9 Grand Prix. So you're. I'm doubling down on a maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I trust him. I trust my guy. Good enough for Crofty. It's good enough for me. Yeah, I mean, you don't just blab shit unless you know exactly what you're talking about. Right. Heard it from me first. First 9 Grand Prix had unique podiums apparently, and I think that's pretty interesting because I was saying if Oscar gets on the podium with the combination of Kimi, Charles, Oscar, it'll be the 10th
Right.
10th race, 10th Grand Prix, 10th unique podium.
Right. And is that like driver or position or both?
My guess would be like the combination of the 3 drivers, not position.
Right. Okay.
I thought that's quite interesting.
Yeah. Right. I don't know if I believe it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't fact check it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just thought it was
All
interesting.
Right. That's half a job. I really expected how little you worked for that one. Yeah,
I mean,
impressive.
Go back 5 years. Go back to 2021. What do we have? They were making, there was jokes about the.
I don't want to go back to 2021.
Hamverbot. Hamverbot.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. Gone time.
I know the point. I'm
That was the
commenting
most-
on your half-assed effort to give us a good
let's
Easter
just
egg.
say that I'm right, and let's just say Crofty's right. Let's not forget, this is off the back of Crofty.
Okay,
In Crofty
so it's
we trust.
Crofty's fault. So
Yeah.
it's Crofty's idea. Crofty's
Exactly right. I'll double down on Crofty.
All right, my one is Mercedes have only scored points with one car in the last 4 out of 5 Grand Prix.
As in, like, obviously one car at a time.
Yeah. So out of the last 5 Grand Prix, I didn't know I had to make it even simpler for you.
You kind of, I don't know if you're insinuating as in only Kimi score points. But what you're saying is only one car has actually finished.
Yeah, only one Merc out of the 2 have finished in the points in 4 of the last 5 Grand Prix.
Yeah. I said from the start, we saw this with Merc in 2014. It's the reliability that's going to get him. And it's what's proven to be their Achilles heel.
Yeah. Now, are you sure that Monza is the next race?
We do this every week. I'm so sure.
Okay, all right.
I'll check it.
Yeah, all right.
When I was watching Goodwood, it was, I think it might have been Lando. One of them said there's
You would be wrong. We're not in Monza until September, you idiot.
Really?
Yeah. So the next one is the Hungarian Grand Prix.
But that is next week.
That's next week, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then there's a break?
Then it's the break. And then it's the Zandvoort.
Zandy was off.
And then Monza.
I thought Zandy was off.
Nope. It's right there. Dutch
I
Grand Prix.
swear last year was the last.
We clearly know we can't trust you for shit.
Oh, man.
I don't know what crack you're smoking.
I swear Monza never used to be this late in the year.
Because I remember them talking about like coverage next week coming up, and I don't remember ever hearing Monza come up. And I was like,
so funny. It was probably because they talked about Charles's back-to-back wins in Spa then Monza in 2019, and the Formula One calendar doesn't get shaken up that much.
Yeah, so you half-assed that as well. So
Yeah, I never
to you.
check. I just wing it.
So
Is that not clear now?
The Hungarian Grand Prix is next week, so we're spoiled with another back-to-back before our
Oscar.
sabbatical.
Did he win last year in Hungary? I feel like
I think he did, because that's why I remembered it thinking, good times.
I think he did. Oh, maybe not, because that was where his first win was. Maybe that's where I'm getting confused. But yeah.
Anyway.
And then Zandy, the place of Oscar's last Grand Prix win.
Yeah.
So let's commemorate that.
As always, thanks if you've hung around and listened to us chat about the Spa Grand Prix or the Belgian Grand Prix, whichever floats your boat.
Spa Franco Chumps.
Always a pleasure to talk some shit.
This was a great episode. I had such a great time.
I'm happy I could entertain you for an hour.
I entertain myself as well.
If you are thoroughly entertained at home or in the car, wherever you may be listening from, feel free to smash the like button, leave a comment. If you aren't subscribed, by now, what do you hate us?
Just go down, hit the subscribe button. You have no idea the joy it brings me.
Oh, it's immense. It is immense.
I'm sick of making bot accounts to just see that tick over.
I can't even be fucked to do that. We'll see you in Hungary for next week.
Sweet. All right. See you then.
Catch you then.
All right.
GG's.
Bye.